So I'm young, inexperienced in the business. I get a call from somebody in another state, guy I had sponsored week before. Hey, you gotta, when you come doing, and we had scheduled a meeting. So great, the meeting's coming up. It's going to be so big, man. I'm going to pack the room, and I'm so excited. So now, fast forward, it's like the night before. I'm calling, check. Hey, I'm flying out tomorrow. How are we looking? And he said, man, it's going to be packed, man. I've got a meeting room holds 150 people or whatever the number was, some crazy number. And I said, wow, first meeting, 150 or whatever this number was. And he's like, yeah, let me tell you, I've given out like 2,000 flyers all over town. I left them on the cigarette machines in the bars and in the top and Denny's and everything. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What about your friends and your family and the people you know? And he's like, well, no, I'm not talking to anybody I know because, I've been in so many deals and I've lost so much money and I brought them in all those. So I've got no friends left. So I'm just, but I did thousands of flyers. And I'm like, I don't think flyers really work to do this business very much, particularly to put people in a meeting room. Listen, you need to get that hotel, you need to get that meeting room dialed down, smallest one you can get, and, don't get for 150 people or 200 people or whatever he had. He's like, no, I'm telling you, I've been doing these flyers all over for weeks, I'm telling you. So, moral of the story, of course I get there. Nobody comes. It's him and me. Now, I did that meeting that night for him. I had him sit in the front row and I did the whole presentation for him because I knew if I didn't do that meeting that night, I would never do another one. And you know what? He dropped out anyway, never did anything more after that. But the fact that I did that meeting is why I'm still in the business today. But I made a promise to myself that I would learn how to make future trips more productive. And that's what I want us to focus on in this lesson, is how to do long distance sponsoring in a way that makes sense for you and helps your business. Now, some reasons to build long distance. There's a lot of good reasons to do that. Number one is security, right? You're going to have bad publicity in some areas. You might have an overzealous attorney general or regulator in some particular area. Natural disasters happen. I had a huge organization in Miami when Hurricane Andrew struck a long time ago, and it wiped things out for 8 months. It was literally a couple of years before things really got back to where they were before the hurricane. You just have people leave and take deals with other companies, or just competitive forces happen. So long distance sponsoring gives you a little more security for the business. Extra money. Long distance gives you both width and depth, income and security, because it's flushing out, you're filling out your organization. Third reason, it's just fun. You get to go places, cool places, and make new friends and do some things. And fourth, and probably the most important reason, is it forces you to duplicate well. Because here's the thing you're going to see. You can't enable your long distance people like you can your local people. Most people think their strongest team is their local one, because their local team is usually their largest team. It's the one they have the most people at the meetings. It's the one they have the most contacts with, seems to have the most action. But I promise you, your strongest lines are your long distance ones, because those are the ones who are forced to do the things that they're supposed to do, and you're not there to enable them and create all this dependency. Now, let's talk about some of the challenges of long distance, because there are some challenges. You just can't be there in person for a lot of stuff, for every breakthrough and victory, and when they do their first home meeting or they break their first rank, you can't be there for every celebration. That's okay, but there is and we can certainly use technology to be there on, digitally, but it's just not quite the same. And then the other thing is it's going to take some investment. It definitely takes some money to build long distance lines. But that's a couple of challenges versus a much stronger look, a list of things that are benefits. So I really do want you to build long distance, but let me give you some tips for how to do it effectively. All right, so first thing we have to say is build your home market first, wherever you live right now. Now, I know what you're going to say. Yeah, I know, I live in Sacramento, but I have this buddy, and he's down in Mexico, and man, the market in Mexico is so big. That's avoidance behavior. And you're going to see it all the time from your team members. You're going to sponsor somebody, let's say you live in New York, and you're going to sponsor someone, and they're going to say, well, when are we going to open up Canada? Because I have like 3 friends in Canada, and they're just dying. Hey, if we're not open in Canada, let's not be talking about Canada. We live in New York. Your friends, family, neighbors are in New York. Let's concentrate on New York. So always start with your home market. Use tools and technology wherever possible. I got to tell you, I have done, I can't even tell you how many meetings where I've been the speaker now, the opportunity speaker, at a meeting in a foreign country, which I did from my home and just did it via Skype. Because technology really does give us that thing. So it really is a big commitment of money and time, especially, particularly if you're going to be building internationally. So use the tools and the technology. So I told you, I want you to start in your home market. So here's the strategy behind this. I want you to develop a beachhead in your local market before you take your first trip. Because what that does is it gives you experience, it develops your skills, it gives you more confidence, and it creates some income and some, bonus checks coming in. So now it gets you in a spot where you can go somewhere and work with a long distance line. So develop the beachhead locally, then look at building long distance. Now, when you're ready to go on a trip, you're going to open up a market, make your first trip busy. So you want to be that, hey, that person you're going to work with, they're going to pick you up at the airport and you're going to be with them. And you're going to make 25 calls confirming stuff with people that you're going to be meeting with. You're going to have a meeting right away that night. You're going to have a new member orientation right after or the next morning. You're going to do some 2-way or 3-way calls or meetings with people who couldn't come to the opportunity meeting the night before. You just want to, you're going to follow up with new people who join and help them with some conference calls or Skype or one-on-ones or 2-on-ones with some of their people. So in other words, if you're going to buy a ticket, get a hotel, travel however far, however many kilometers, however many miles, make it busy. Just squeeze in as much as possible for that. That'll make it a good investment. And everything we're talking about this lesson is about making long distance as an investment, not as an expense. Also, next thing, enlist the help of your sponsorship line. So if you get a new line going in Dallas, right, and talk to your sponsorship line. Say, hey, I've got a real potential leader developing in Dallas. They're doing really well. I'm going there in January, and we've got, we're going to have at least 80 people there. I'm coming back in February. We think by February we're probably going to have 120 people, and we're wondering, could you do something for March? Is there somebody else in the sponsorship line who could do something for April? So we schedule this thing out. We give them a guest speaker, somebody big that they can edify and build up to, create excitement for the event. You can't do that all alone, so get your sponsorship line involved. And there you say, well, my line, what? Trust me, you really get some pockets of activity developing, you'll have no shortage of people from your sponsorship line who want to go there. Because we love to go to places where there's big crowds of new, excited people where we can get a whole bunch of new people in the business. That's what we live for. And basically, as a leader, that's what you do every month, is you're just kind of looking at your calendar and saying, well, who can I go work with next month? What would be the best investment of my time and money? So do these things we're talking about, and you and your teams will be the best investment of the time and money for your upline leaders. The other thing is, give your leaders in the local market objectives that they've got to achieve before your next visit. In other words, don't just commit that, okay, yeah, I'm going to come once a month for the next 6 months and I'm going to do a meeting in Madison, Wisconsin. You got to say, okay, what's our goal for this first meeting? So you go and you do that meeting and they hit the goal or they don't hit the goal. Now we got to say, what's the plan for next month? What are you committing to doing before I come back? You're going to, we don't have enough, you don't have 4 lines chasing you yet. It's really important. Before I come back, we need to have 4 lines chasing you. We've got 11 people who are inviting to this meeting. By next month, we need to have 20 people who are inviting to this meeting. Give them some goals that they need to accomplish to get you or someone else from the sponsorship line there. So I get it all the time because I get dozens of calls and emails every month. Hey, come here, come there. Everybody wants you everywhere. So you got to say, well, here's the deal. If you can break 3 new director lines in that city this month, I'd be willing to come that month. Hey, if you guys can take the volume from this level to that level, I'd be willing to come the month after that. Give them something to shoot for. And then you really are making a good investment. And speaking of investing, let me talk about how I think you should do this. Because I actually created a formula which I follow for how to invest your time in investing. Because when you're just starting off and you're a beginner, you might have like 1 or 2 days a month, the most that you could do, where it might be a long distance line and you're just driving there. You get up early on a Saturday morning and you drive 4 hours and you get there by 9 a.m. and you do the meeting. And then, you do a training, you have a meeting, you do a training afterward, help out, do what you can, and then you drive home. Once you get to the mid-level, I think you should invest 3 or 4 days a month in travel, going to work with long distance lines. And when you get to be full-time in the business, you no longer need your day job, and you're getting a strong enough income to support yourself and your family with your network marketing income. I want you to invest some of that back in the business. And a full-time person, I'd like to see him spend 5 or 6 days a month working with long distance lines. Because what that does is because it's really easy to just sit home and work with your local group all the time, but that's not where the breakthroughs are. That's not where the growth is. So when you really calendar it out and you say, okay, I'm full-time, Randy said I should be doing 5 to 6 days a month working with long distance lines. So let me look in my back office here and look down the organization, and where do I have leaders, and where do I have some potential leaders developing? Where do I see a little brush fire of volume that I can go and pour gasoline on that fire and turn it into a raging inferno? I mean, that's really the goal. That's what you want to do with your long distance travel. At this point, by the way, I would suggest you get a travel agent, and I know nobody uses travel agents anymore. There's all these websites, but I think it helps to have a travel agent when you're really traveling a lot, because they have some clout with airlines and hotel programs and things that when you run into trouble, you're going to wish you had a travel agent instead of getting the cheapest bargain ticket on a discount website that has no refunds, no changes, nothing else, and things always happen. Get in the frequent flyer program of whatever the major carriers are in your area, and pick 1 or 2 hotel chains and get in their frequent guest program and accumulate points. And then you've got it, so you can use those to help grow your business in the early days. Or like me, like what I do at this level is I never use points for a business trip, not miles or hotel points or anything. I just save those up. So like right now, literally I have probably 2 million miles in my airline accounts that I haven't used, and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of points in my hotel programs that I haven't used. But that's what keeps me sane when I'm doing all these trips and I'm traveling to work with all these lines, is just knowing, wow, anytime I want to take a trip to Hawaii, Fiji, Tahiti, Alaska, South Pole, anywhere I want to go, for as long as I want to go, I got all this. It's just like money in the bank because I've accumulated all these points. So you're going to travel, do it smart, and get in the points program and get the credit card that goes with your airline, so you get points for all that, and all, and work the programs. So what you're going to see, build in long distance, it really does give you security, because it diversifies your organization around the country or around the world, and it really does give you better diversity and security for your income.